It is very, very windy here. I'm based in the UK, and we currently have a storm raging through, one of those winter storms. So the windows in my studio have got little gaps where they've just moved. And when it's really strong wind, the wind comes through sometimes and it sounds a bit like a kazoo. So if you hear some kazoo playing in the background, it's just my weird windows. So what I'm working on today is this painting here, which is my painting of Glastonbury Tor. And I want to finish the moon and the Tor and the owls today. So basically I've got some paint on my palette and I had to finish my previous painting session quickly. So what I do in that case is I just cover it in cling film, and that keeps the paint nice and moist. It stops it drying out. And that allows me to come right back to the studio the next day and carry on with the same paint. So I'm just going to move the camera around so that you can see the painting that I'm working on. Just angle that down a bit so you can see. And grab my brushes that I need, which are these ones here. So these are my favourite brushes for most of my painting work. And I'm going to start on the moon here, and I need to work on the outside of the moon here. So what I need is a little bit of black paint. Unless that bit's dry, it's possible that paint might still be. Oh yeah, look at that. Hey, that's good news. That's workable. So I need a bit of blue. And again here, I haven't got long today. Got quite a bit to do, so I'm just having like half an hour's work on this piece. Because I want to get it ready for an up and coming exhibition that I've got in June, possibly before then. So let's move the easel around a little bit. So hopefully you can see this okay. And I've mixed up a black and blue together because I really want the moon to stand out. And that means offsetting it against a dark sky. I need a bit more blue in there. It's quite hard to paint a sphere if you haven't got any guidelines painted, which in this case I haven't. So I'm just using the flow of the brush and continually moving the brush round. So there's no flat bits. And I just come in closer and closer with this colour until I'm right up against the moon itself. That's why I can't speak when I'm doing this, because I'm concentrating very hard. On making the moon look round instead of egg-shaped or having a flat part to it. Okay, so now adding a touch of white into my blue colour to make a navy blue. Just checking the comments. Hi to everyone who's joined. Hi Stephanie, what time is it here? It's 1:15 in the afternoon here, and it's absolutely howling a gale out there. Very, very, very windy. So now I've added some white to my dark blue. I'll hold that up so that you can see what's going on here. Can you see that there's like a halo around it now, where I've gone in dark against the moon, and then I'm adding this light colour here now, and then eventually I'll blend it all together. And I'll switch to a bigger brush shortly, once I've got away from the edge of the moon, so I've got no risk of brushing into it. Which can happen, you know, there is a danger every so often, especially if I like drop the brush or get startled or something, which is I'm easily startled. The phone might ring and I'll jump out of the ceiling. So I'm just going in now with this lighter colour. Blending the darkness out. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now I can pick my nice big blending brush here. And I'm going to take a lot more of the colour, add a bit more white. So I want to make that lovely midnighty, it's like almost like a navy, that kind of colour, a navy blue sky. And see what that looks like. That's too blue, so I want a little bit of white in there and a bit more black just to make it slightly more of a grey blue. Let's just test that. And that's too much black. Add a bit more blue in. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that's got some nice colours happening in it. Just going to add a touch more blue. Just so that we're not too navy, and a bit more white. Oh, perfect, absolutely perfect, that colour. So I'm just blending this in. Just so that the moon doesn't look like it's sort of stuck in the background. Can you hear the wind coming through? The windows aren't open here, not at all. Yet the wind is absolutely howling through. I'm a bit scared of the wind. I don't know how you feel about it. When I was a child, I've got to tell you this. I've got to tell you this story. So when I was a child, I watched a programme. It was called QED, and I can't remember what it stood for, but it was like a science programme, and they did this whole feature on the wind, and they talked about the Beaufort scale and how you measure the different types of breeze through into gales, through into hurricanes. And they showed this picture of a film of a wall that had been blown down. And I was about 7 at the time, and it absolutely terrified me. So I just got to think that every time it was going to be really windy, that the house would blow down. And I could not get around this. I couldn't explain it. And I still have this fear today, even though I know that, you know, walls don't usually get blown down. It's got to be a pretty dramatic wind for that to happen. Unless they're very old walls and there was a tree there or something like that. So anyway, so that's why I don't like the wind. Back to the painting, just whiz it round again. Just thought I'd overshare one of my little little concerns there. So I've got a little bit of yellow ochre paint, and I'm just grabbing some of that on the brush with the blue, mixing that in, because that's going to give me like a brown, more of a darker kind of yellowy colour. It's this one actually, I'll show you. This is the paint. This is yellow ochre. The reason why it's all coming out the bottom instead of the top is because oil paints, I've never really found the way to fix it. But oil paints, to me, always seem to clog up quite badly around the lid. And for me, that results in not being able to get the paint out of the lid anymore. You know, you can't like squeeze it out the top of the neck of the tube, which is where it's supposed to come out. So I end up cutting the bottom off the tube to get it out. Need a bit more blue in there. So at the bottom here, I'm just adding in like a hint of movement in the sky. You know, so not too many clouds, but just a hint of it not being completely calm. And then as you get down to the horizon, you blend it out. So at the top of the painting, that's sort of close, so the paintings sort of work like that in terms of a focal point. So as you come closer to you, this part of the sky will have more detail, and then this part will be nicely blended and really smooth as it goes down into the horizon, because you wouldn't see like rough clouds at the bottom of the horizon because they're too far away at that point. I'll make that a bit darker. When painting with oils, it is preferable to have the windows open because you get quite a lot of fumes coming through. Unfortunately, with it being so windy, that's not practical today, and therefore I can't paint very long today because I've got a bit of a headache, and paint fumes are not going to help that situation. So this is where we've got to, and if I twist the canvas, maybe if I twist it that way, you can see the slight differences in the sky, where I've added in a little bit of storminess. Just going to read the comments a second. Oh, thank you. Clouds have come to life. Thank you, I explained it well. Thank you. Stephanie, your painting. So it's 12:24 where you are. Okay. So you're an hour behind me. Whereabouts are you, Stephanie? Drop it in the comments and I'll try and have a read as I go along. So now, this is another favourite brush. It looks like a makeup brush and it does the similar job. For those of you that like to maybe wear blusher, it blends. It's got such super soft bristles. They're really soft. And they pick up the oil and they just blend it all together so you don't see harsh brush strokes. Just really blends it in. There we go. Now I might work on that moon a little bit more. So I'm going to change my brush to this one, and this brush has got, oh, you're from India, Abjay. Thank you for saying I hope my headache goes away, so do I. So this brush has got little finger grips like a pencil, so you can hold it really, really tightly and securely, and it gives you a lot of control over your brush strokes. So I'm going to work on this moon, and I'm going to pick up some white paint and a little bit of yellow ochre and some linseed oil and a dash of Windsor yellow. Mix that together. I mostly want white, so I'll get that kind of colour on my brush. And then I'm going to go in here with this brush and just lighten up certain parts of the moon. And again, I'm having to continually move the brush in a circle. Like that. Almost have to hold your breath. There we go. I'm going to pick up a wee bit more white with my oil and just come round here a little bit more. There we are. I think that's better. From a distance, it seems to look better to me, nice and clear. Okay. Got paint on my fingers already. Just going to check the comments. So thank you, Abjay. Yeah. When have you? So Abjay asks, since when have you been painting? I have been painting. Oh my gosh, I'm 48 now, and I started painting when I was 13. Really, probably painted a bit earlier, if I'm honest, but properly started painting when I was 13, and I entered a few competitions as well. I used to be like, I'll just turn the screen around so I can see you. So I used to be absolutely horse mad, and I drew horses, I painted them, and I just kept every available minute I'd got, I would draw a horse. And I got really, really good at drawing horses. And so I entered a few competitions when I was about 13, and I won one from Pony magazine. Gosh, that's going back a bit. And then I entered again the following year, and they wrote to me and said, "We really love your work, but we can't let you win again, so we'll have to give you a runner-up prize." Which I thought was really sweet of them, because they could have just ignored me and just made their own decisions. But I thought that was lovely, and my picture got put in the magazine, and I was all happy. That's lovely. So yeah, that's how long I've been painting. I'm going to just twist the camera around so you can carry on seeing what I'm doing here. So now I'm going to do a bit of work on the Tor, and I just want to paint in some of this moon colour that I've got on my brush. In fact, I'm going to change brushes, because that brush is not delicate enough. I'm going to go to this brush, which is called a script brush. And the script brush goes very, very thin, and it allows you to make like a nib shape. That's probably why it's called a script brush, like you'd get on a calligraphy pen. There we are. So I'm just putting in a dash of that moon colour. It just brings out the stonework of the Tor, where it would catch that moonlight. Okay, I'm going to mix a darker colour, so I'm picking up some of my yellow ochre and get the brush dipped in that, and then just add a bit of darkness to it. And just check what that looks like. There we go. Add a bit more dark to it. So I'm almost making like a bluey grey, so I can get the shadows right. Starting to look a bit more 3D now. And then pick up a load more oil and really make a nice sort of wash colour. Add a bit of yellow in and a bit of white. Make a nice stony colour. This might be a bit green. I'm just going to test that there. Yeah, needs a bit more. Needs a little bit more of this yellow colour coming in there. Just squeeze that out. Mix together. And just check what that's like. Yeah, that's more stony. Sometimes it's just a very subtle colour difference that you need to create what you're after, you know, to make it the right colour. I think definitely less is more, because this is a fantasy painting. It's not a realism painting. So I've got a bit of artistic license, which is good. And now I'm going to pick this brush here and I'm going to do a bit of blending work here. I'm just going to check the questions again. So, oh, thank you for saying painting's magic. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. I know you have to go. If you just, let me turn the camera. If you like and subscribe, then you'll see when I go live. I don't have set times. I kind of just have to go live when I get the inspiration and the time to do it. But if you subscribe, then you'll get a notification when I've gone live, and then you can just jump on. And you'll also be able to watch back some of the other videos as well. So that's great. So that's the best thing to do. So I'm just blending here just to take away any harsh lines, because this Tor, this is a Tor, Glastonbury Tor, is actually in the distance on the top of a hill, and you wouldn't see massive amounts of architecture, just the main aspects. There we go. I think I'm happy with that. Right, so that's it for today. I'm going to work on the owls, I think, just a little bit, and then use up the paint on the palette, and then I'll come back again in a couple of days and see how I get on. So let's have a look and see what comments we've got. So Stephanie, thank you. I will paint with you soon. Bye, Stephanie. See you, take care. And what other comments have I got? A couple of others. I've answered these ones. Okay, lovely. So I'm going to go now and just finish this, and then I'm going to go for a run before it starts to rain. So it's been lovely to have you join me painting Glastonbury Tor. If you enjoy watching me paint, then please do subscribe to my channel. It really does help. You can also put my name in, Claire Valentine Artist, into Google, and all of my social channels and my website will come up as well. So feel free to join, follow, however you want. And hope to see you again soon. Right, bye for now. Have a good afternoon.